you can follow your own dream and ambitions, and sometimes they're not so mad. Sometimes hard work does turn into these Olympic dreams. Hi, I'm Lizzy Yarnold on Sporf, and this is my journey. I was very much like ambitious to be good at biology, but I just couldn't do it. I was the sporty kid, so I picked up like netball, cricket, rugby. Athletics really stood out for me in my secondary school as well. I loved heptathlon, the 7 events, like physically to learn them, but mentally that kind of, you know, that toughness of the competition over 2 days, that I really loved heptathlon. I wanted to be Denise Lewis, but by 18, I just wasn't good enough. I never got the letter. So then I went for this talent search testing for the skeleton. At the talent testing day, it was up at Loughborough, and we drove from Kent, Gemma, my best friend, and we did all kind of testing, like arm span, height, power, sprint speed, power on the bike and endurance. So they were looking to fill loads of different sports, modern pentathlon, rowing, and all these ones. And skeleton was at the bottom of the list. I hadn't heard of it. I didn't know what it meant. I ignored it. And on the form, I was like, I'm really good at running. I can ride a horse. And I was trying to get onto modern pentathlon. I made it up, but I was like, modern pentathlon, maybe that's for me. And then weeks later, got a letter, and it said, well done, you've made it through to the first stage of the talent testing for skeleton. And Googled it. And I was like, what on earth is this sport? It's so different to anything I'd seen before, tried before. It's a winter sport. But I figured, they have seen something in me, so I'll go to the testing and see what happens. I was really confused because you see the sled and the athlete in the ice chute, but how do you steer? It looks all very quick and noisy and loud and aggressive, and is the athlete actually doing anything? What's happening? Or are they just lying on the sled and the track's taking them wherever they're going to take them? So I think I was quite inquisitive as to what kind of sport is this? What does it need from an athlete? And I loved training. I loved competition as a teenager, but I think I preferred training and learning the sport. So I think I was quite attracted to the fact that it looked a bit mad. It looked very brave. But, how does this actually work? How do people get better? I think I actually qualified myself by winning the World Junior Championships competition. So that was cool to be taking part in this big senior competition with Amy Williams, who was the reigning Olympic champion, Shelley Rudman, our silver medalist from 2006. And there was just me, this new kid, the upstart. And it was a track in America, Lake Placid. And the home girl, Katie Eulander, she's competing in Beijing. She's been doing the sport forever. And in 2012, I thought, right, I've just got to believe in myself. I've got to think that I can be competitive and do this, because if I don't believe it, no one else is going to believe it. And I was just aggressive. I was looking forward, not thinking who's behind me. I was like, go, go, go forward. And I ended up in 3rd place, which was mental. In 4th, I think, was Amy. 5th was Shelley. And I was like, this cannot be real. Maybe I can actually be good at this sport. I was really focused on Noelle Piker's pace, another American. She was my major rival that season going into Sochi. She'd win, I'd come 2nd. I'd win, she'd be 3rd. It's back and forth, back and forth. I was so set on her, thinking, if I make the smallest mistake, she will just whip my ass. It can happen and change so quickly. So I was so focused on her ability, her presence, her ambition, that I thought I have just got to up my game the whole time. And I guess in skeleton, what I always wanted to achieve was my performance almost transcending a gold medal. Although the medal is fantastic and the gold medal is my ambition, I've almost got to ignore it and think I have to be the best athlete I can ever be. And hopefully when the chips fall, that lands on a medal. My biggest moment, I think, even beyond the Olympic wins, was the World Championship in 2015. So back a few years now. But I'd had a busy summer with coming back from Sochi and trying to go to schools and tell people about skeleton, open sandwich shops, lots of demands and lots of requests. And my mum hadn't been well that summer, so we were making sure that she was going to chemo and getting well. and going back on ice and thinking, okay, I want to try and be world champion. I'm Olympic champion. Can I also become European champion and world champion and get them all in 1 year, which not many, I think I'm the first Brit to do ever. And so that World Championships, where I combined all the titles, was seriously mega to think, yeah, I've like secured my moment in history. A big moment of, I can't believe how far I've come, of the kids. I think I was about 12 when I watched Denise Lewis compete and win her medal. And she was such an inspiring character. She just held herself well. She looked in control. She looked powerful. And I think I was just realising that as someone holding the Grand Slam in my sport, I could maybe like show someone, not everyone can do skeleton. It's not for everyone, and it's a bit adrenaline junky, but there is a sport out there for everyone. I don't necessarily want them to do skeleton because people don't like winter sports. Some people like golf or football. But if I bring in the gold medal and I show it to them, and I love just passing it around to everyone, it smells, and it's been like sneezed on a lot. I have to clean it often, but I love the fact that kids have held it and know that it's not my gold medal. It's something that they can achieve, they can aim for, and it's something that they can, really hold in their hands themselves. I do ask if anyone achieves a gold medal or Olympic medal, let me know, and I want to come and see their medal too, which would be really cool. What I've now achieved is so far beyond my expectation, and my first Olympics in Sochi, I guess, was focused on myself, trying to do the best I could, be the best athlete, and I came home with a gold. In Pyeongchang, I really struggled to even be selected. I got my worst results in skeleton 2 months before the games, and I only got there because Laura Dees and the team, the skeleton coaches and physios and doctors, supported me and believed in me. You know, when I had those huge moments of doubt, often, to be honest, I think they said, you know, you've done this before, you've been here before. And in skeleton, it is about failure a lot. Going down the track, I've got to work out, okay, into corner one, do I go high, low, low, high, low, low? You know, how do I get around this space? I've got to fail, 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 fail to then become successful. So to get to Pyeongchang and then be on the podium along with Laura, my teammate, she was my bridesmaid, I was hers. Like, it meant so much to then become Olympic champion again, but the whole story around it and all of that hard work that it took to get there. If I was having a bad day, I'd think, right, just 3 things I've got to focus on the track. Corner 1, 7 and 8, focus on those, don't worry about the rest. And if I do 1 run a minute, I can then come back to the change room and have a bit of a cup of tea or have a cereal bar. So I'm all about having those little motivational things that keep you going through the day. On the skeleton sled, it's super noisy. There's vibrations through your body as you're laying on the sled as well. So it's quite difficult to even look ahead, like tilt your head upwards, look through your eyebrows and try and focus on the track itself. And then I've got to try and remember, okay, corner 1, 2, where do I need to be? Early, late into the corner? What's the steering? Now I'm into corner 3, corner 5, it's getting quicker, quicker, quicker. And it's just so quick down the bottom, 80, 90 miles an hour. You're just whipping from one side of the track to the other, trying to hold your form, your shoulders down, toes together, not touching the ice, reducing the friction, increasing the speed, and then looking through the finish line thinking, take a breath, what's the time? And how does that compare to the rest of the field? Is it good enough? But it's a whole body experience and such an adrenaline filled moment. I love it. I love how it can go wrong sometimes. I can make mistakes and not be so great, but sometimes it all comes together and it is magical. Have huge ambitions. Start out with that ambitious mindset. Be comfortable with failing. And then what will get you through to being successful is commitment. I always shy away from advice, but one thing I think is important to remember is that if you're going to be successful in anything, it doesn't happen overnight. The overnight success is so rare, and it takes years of, whether it's in that sport itself or in a different sport, it's that learning how to be an athlete, learning how to communicate with others well, learning how to deal with nerves and anxiety and performance pressure. And then, you know, these are skills that absolutely go on in life. And I really appreciate now, having been an elite athlete for 10 years, I have so many like skills in my toolbox that will stay with me for life. And I think my favorite one is learning to appreciate others' performance and really back someone else. You know, when someone else does a really good job, celebrate that, encourage them, and build them up as well, because they in turn will build you up and pull you up when you need it.